Hello and welcome to Read the Last Page,
A Yap Session
book club
with your two favorite long-distance best friends.
The book read this month is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young.
And since we finally read the last page, let's talk about it. Hi, B. How are you?
I'm good. It's currently 10:09 p.m.
It's really late for specifically you.
Just got home from working a shift at the theater. But honestly, it was good. This past weekend, I didn't get enough sleep every night. I was on a movie set, so that was kind of cool. So you guys might see me on the big screen soon, just as an extra. But it was like really, really long hours, and I was also working, and so the past few days I've been sleeping in. Like today I slept until 11, I think. Yesterday I slept till 12. Which is like crazy.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah, it's good. So I don't feel like it's late, but I don't feel like super tired right now. It feels like a nice 6-7 p.m. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
Good for you.
Yeah,
that's nice.
How are you doing, Dan?
I'm good. I told you this already, but I came home from work. I had to go grab groceries. Came home, and then I kid you not, like 150 pages left of this book. And so I've just been like literally going crazy trying to finish it. But I finished it in time. Thank God for late starts for podcasts. Because if you wanted to do this at 6 p.m., I would have been like, well,
right.
Probs not. But no, I'm doing good. It's been a really chaotic, specifically couple weeks, but I'm fine. It's just the vibes of November, I guess. But yeah, and like everyone's sick. Everyone's sick.
Yeah.
You can probably hear my voice right now. I feel like I'm like groggy in a way.
Yeah.
It's like part of it is because it's 9 p.m. and like I've been using my voice all day. But like, you know, my roommate's currently combating a cold. I've had like this weird like kind of groggy state to my throat for the past week and a half, but I'm just like pushing through because I'm like, it's not
yeah,
it doesn't feel like a cold or anything. It just feels like my throat is constantly a little like just needs to be cleared.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm gonna go until my body breaks down.
Okay, well, hopefully you're well enough when I come home from for Thanksgiving, because we might have some Stranger Things to watch.
Oh my gosh, the new season's coming. Girl, wait, what are you feeling for this new season? Because we haven't even talked about it.
I know.
But I'm genuinely so scared.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's like season 1 and 2, I got those down pat in here. And then also season 3.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with season. Yeah.
But season 4, we only watched the one time. Like, we watched the first part.
Yeah.
And then when the second part came out, we rewatched the first and then watched the second. But that was within like a month or two.
Yes.
And we haven't seen season 4 since then.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I'd watched part 1 twice, and that was, we did rewatch it. But part 2 of season 4, I do not remember very much.
I know.
So
I'm like, should we like rewatch them before? But it's so hard because I want to watch it with you. But it's like we're not gonna have time.
I know. Gosh, it's so hard being at this stage in our lives. Like it's like just sleep over at my house for like 72 hours and we'll not get
exactly.
Yeah. Well, we can talk and figure it out. We'll have to, or at least together maybe we could do a recap.
Yeah, that's true.
So we could each
Sometimes Netflix does those recaps.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Maybe they'll have one.
one of us has to get a Netflix.
Yeah. No, I'm already okay with that. Like,
okay.
I'll bring my Roku home from here, and I'll bring it.
Okay.
So at my parents' house, we can
watch on
Netflix.
your TV.
Yeah.
That's so big. But and then we're gonna watch the part 1, and then part 2 is coming out like later. So we have like that to wait.
I know. Which like I'm annoyed by, but
I know, me too. I don't like that they do that. I get that it's trying to drive up. It's trying to create what was of the past, where it's kind of like, you know, I don't think we should for sure kill weekly releases. I think those are quite fun. But I don't like the bulk releases. Like I'd rather have it be a weekly thing where we can just like slowly
Right.
get all of it.
Yeah.
But not the bulk. I hate that. Like I don't want to have to wait a whole month to like get 4 more episodes.
Yeah, and especially for long distance best friends.
Yeah, it's really hard for us.
It's like it's getting expensive.
Yeah, it's like Netflix. You actually the second Stranger Things is done, me and Netflix are cutting ties.
Literally.
And I say this sincerely. If you're listening, Netflix, you have burned so many bridges. You've scorned me one too many times.
When you canceled season 2 of Julie and the Phantoms,
Oh,
that was the first the first break.
I will never forget. Like that show got canceled on the day of my college graduation. Yes.
So maybe a monumental day.
my roommate at the time, Haley, she turned around and she goes, Danny, I'm so sorry. And I thought someone died. I was like, what happened? And she goes, Julie and the Phantoms got canceled. I was like, no. Like I was so emotional that day already. And I was like, that is literally the nail in the coffin. I don't think I can handle this.
Yeah.
So Netflix, I'm through. I'm over it.
I know. I'm trying to get them all a hard copy. I'm pretty sure I have season 1, like the DVDs of season 1, but I would like to get DVDs of all of them because I want to be able to have them. You know, I'm like a physical. I like CDs and DVDs, so I want to own them, and then it's like I can watch them wherever. Like, you just need a DVD player, you know?
Yeah, I highly encourage people to collect things physical media wise, just because streaming's so annoying. You never know when things are gonna just be taken off.
Yeah.
So you know, that's great. But yeah, Stranger Things. Wow, so many things to look forward to. It's also Wicked November. If anyone cares about Wicked,
I'm gonna see that. I think I'm coming home. That's what I'm excited about. Yeah. 10 days.
Wow.
Bringing the boy for the family to meet, for the best friend to meet.
Yes.
Guys,
oh my God,
I'm
it's
nervous.
So
what if Danielle doesn't like him?
Girl, don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about that. It's gonna be great. My sister's flight actually today, she called me and she was like, my flight tomorrow got canceled.
Oh no.
Because of everything with the government shutdown.
Airports
are quite frustrating currently, which like understandable because like those poor government workers. But it's luckily her flight got, like, they found another flight for her, so knocking on wood, as of right now we've got a flight booked for her, but just fingers crossed that you don't have anything to worry about.
I know. Well, my coworker who used to work in like air traffic control was telling me about it, and he said that what happened one of the last times there was a government shutdown is it was near a holiday, and basically all of the holiday travel is what sort of forced the government to open back up because of the flights, and like it would be
crazy.
Like,
oh my gosh.
So hopefully it's for more reasons than just my flight. Like,
for sure. Like, let's just open that baby back up. I don't know.
Right. Okay. So are we ready to talk about this book?
I guess so.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay. So who wants to give the synopsis? Do you feel like you can or want to, or you want me to?
I think I can probably. It'll be brief, but so yeah, we read this month The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This book is, I would say, the main genres would be magical realism, fantastical, a little bit of romance, and a little bit of historical fiction in there, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Not like a huge focus. So this essentially is about we meet our young protagonist. Her name is June Farrow, and she comes from a long line of women in her family who have been quote unquote cursed with something that essentially they start to succumb to a certain madness, which ultimately, I don't know, leads to their deaths in a way. So June, at the time that we meet her grandmother had just passed away. She's struggling a lot with her grief. She mentions that her mother has been missing for a majority of her life. And she just had disappeared and no one had known why. She has no answers for that. It's just this huge town mystery. And June is at this place where she is starting to see hallucinations, kind of lose track of time. She's starting to feel like she is getting early signs of what her grandmother had warned her of, this curse. So for June, when we meet her, she has this whole plan that she is going to be the last of the Farrow women. She wants to end the lineage with herself because she does not want to pass on this curse to anybody else. So where the story really starts is when June starts to slowly kind of find these little clues and breadcrumbs that kind of lead her to more answers surrounding her mother's disappearance. And you kind of see that more things are kind of connected. A lot of the mysteries in June's life are connected to one another than you think. So it leads into a crazy kind of thing, a lot to do, no spoilers really, but a lot to do with like time, a bit of a real small town mystery aspect.
Yeah, I was going to say mystery
like
is also one of the main genres.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I would say. Do you have anything else to add about?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those books where it's going to be hard to to brief it without giving spoilers. So that was like good. Yeah, I would say the magical realism that Dan mentioned, it's very much having to do with timeline. Like that's the sort of magic in it, or the part that's not real to our real life. Which is, it was very interesting. We'll talk more about it later. But yeah, kind of a different, I don't know, like, because it's not like magical, but it is like,
it's like this would never happen in our life.
It's different than reality.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know what else to say, because it's like, so like you say one thing and it's kind of spoilery.
It's kind of crazy. It really doesn't, I don't think the plot doesn't happen until you get like 35% of the way into the book. Like you're almost halfway there and you're like, oh, okay, like now I'm kind of understanding what the feeling of this book really is gonna be. So it is kind of hard to like do a non-spoiler explanation of it,
but I guess we could give our like overall like thoughts, opinions. Overall, I really liked it. I feel like I haven't read a mystery book like this in a while, and like I was intrigued. Like I wanted to figure out like where June was from and where she's going and what happened to her mom, and just, you know, everything to do with the women in her family. And it was also kind of like murder mystery in a way.
I know,
but it wasn't too much like that was part of the mystery, but it wasn't like the full focus of the mystery aspect. And so I liked that because it was interesting and I wanted to know like who did it and how did things play out, but it wasn't like the main intent and focus of the book. Which just like, because normally I don't know if that would really be what I'm so interested in. But I'm not like never gonna read a murder mystery, so I like that it was in there, but not like the entirety of it.
It felt like there were like a bunch of mysteries. Like when we say it's a mystery, it's like there are kind of like three main mysteries that are like occurring all at once. And so it's like you're following a lot of different kind of unfolding storylines along with June. And that's what I think is so interesting. Like it's like if it was just a murder mystery, I don't know how interested I would be with that whole story.
Exactly.
But because we were balancing all of these like weird kind of situations and like questions and trying to get to the bottom of multiple different things that all kind of created different emotions for me as a reader. I found that to be really fun. I felt like that was really well balanced.
Yeah, I liked it. I would say definitely if you're into like sort of the interwoven storylines and discovering things alongside the narrator or like the
Yeah,
protagonist, like this is definitely a good book for that. um
that's a really good point. Yeah.
yeah, and it was long, but I wanted it all.
Mm.
And it's like sometimes hard for me to make the time to read like at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, oh, I'll read on the subway and I'll read when I'm out doing this, or I'll read when I'm, but this one I was like, let me open that book up at home, you know.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading, and I liked the, I guess, the flow of the writing, like the writing style. It wasn't anything
Mm.
particularly um like there wasn't necessarily something like so unique or different about it, but it was like it was just right, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a real big thing about books that I feel like can create and cultivate very good like atmospheres that
Mhm.
feel very true to how this would feel, be like, sound like, look like in real life. And I feel like
Uh-huh.
this author was so good at captivating like the Carolina ness of like the whole story, like
Yeah.
down to just the fact that like, you know, they owned like a farm, and
Yeah.
like she was talking about the flowers and the heat, or like the fake
Yeah.
southern hospitality sometimes, and then the real
Yeah.
southern hospitality, like the fact that she goes and she gets a blueberry pie, like little things
Yeah.
like that. It's just like I found it to be so like true, and it just, I felt like I was like in that like marshy, humid
Yeah.
weather with these people. Yeah, I really enjoyed the writing of this. I do feel like it was really like fitting and just
Mhm.
engaging for the actual story. Yeah, I think, I don't know. It was, yeah, I really felt in it
Yeah.
based on just the writing. But yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend this one. I think you know, I think this is something that's like right up my alley. That it has like the hint of like magical realism while still being very grounded in a
Oh,
real
mhm.
sort of place.
Mhm.
Um and I liked that there was like the mystery, and I felt like in a way it kind of was adventure-y in a way.
Hmm.
Like I like adventure books. It's what I used to always read when I was younger. And you know, cuz we're like kind of following her to these different places, and so
Mhm.
if you like that, like I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Also, it's like she's like 34. So it's
I was so happy to see that
yeah.
this was a 30-year-old character,
Yeah, I
because
really like that too.
I was so expecting her to be like 26, 27,
Yeah.
and then hearing that she was like 34. And in a way, a lot of it was like, a lot of this story is about her life up until this moment, I think felt very stagnant because she felt very trapped in her family's
Mhm.
curse. And then this is a real breakthrough moment where it's like,
Yeah.
almost like this is the first day of my life, because like she's finally being confronted with a lot of stuff that has been hidden from her, with no
Uh-huh.
spoilers, but like kind of. um and I'm so excited all the time whenever I find stories that like are really focusing on people in their mid or whatever, anytime in their 30s, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like she's having her coming of age moment, her
Yeah.
awakening moment.
Literally.
I loved it. I love
Yeah.
that part specifically.
Mhm. Me too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to think if I want to say anything. I will say I think this was a bit of a slow start for me, just because there is a
Mhm.
lot to take in at first. There's a lot, like we mentioned, there's multiple mysteries kind of happening, a lot of
Right.
unanswered questions for a majority of the book, I would say, specifically in that first 30%. And then
Mhm.
once you get past that, and then like the first kind of thread of the story like really
Mhm.
begins to unfold in front of you, like you're just like, oh, like this is what we're doing. And then
Right.
it really picked up for me. So if you are okay with a slow build, I think this is a real slow burn type of book. Or if you're somebody who has tried to pick this up and you're like kind of boring, wasn't really into it, kind of try to push through at least till the 50% mark and see if you like it past that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. I think it gets really enjoyable once you're really in the meat of the story.
Yeah, for sure. It's like they gotta kind of set up the premise and the backstory and who everyone is, and so I agree.
For sure.
Okay, so shall we get into the rest of everything?
I guess so.
Okay, so spoilers ahead if you haven't read it. You really should, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot. This is definitely a book that's like you wouldn't want to know the spoilers until you've read it. So
for sure.
Seriously, pause before. But yeah, okay, spoilers ahead. Beware.
Okay. Sweet.
Speaking of beware. Oh, sorry, what?
No, you go.
I was gonna say, speaking of beware, I feel like this was a good read for October.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, we've done good.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be like that. I really did not know what this book was gonna be about.
Me neither.
And once I was reading it, I was like, this is really the vibes.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
Okay, so what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say, you know what? I don't have that many notes for my non-spoiler section, so I would love if you picked.
You know what? I had like less notes than I normally had, and I think it's because I was just like reading it, you know?
Yeah. I know. I wanted to take more notes, and I obviously kind of rushed through my last
that's
my last
true.
half of the book, which was my own fault. But
a lot of my notes were actually like predictions or like questions that I had or like predictions, and that was right for a lot of them. Like,
you're so good at like really taking the time to like, you're like, what, like, yeah, maybe this is gonna happen. I feel like I'm never really thinking through like my predictions of books. I just like let the story do what it's got to do.
On page 152 I wrote, maybe she's the one who sends herself the photo that's from Gran. You know, I'm just good at figuring things out.
That was good there.
Like, here's one, like, this is like nothing for the podcast, it's not helpful, but on page 203 I wrote, okay, I think I understand the mother and everything, but still a little confused on June coming twice here. You know, I'm just like,
okay, and this is what I wanted to actually dive in with you. And this has to be because I am not the person to talk to about anything to do with time. I don't get it. I'm just not the biggest brain when it comes to like wrapping my head around like what is it, quantum physics or something. It's hard. It's hard. So this one, and I actually do feel like I think I get it now. Mm-hmm. But for a majority of this book, I was like, I don't understand how any of this is happening. I was like, how does Margaret, her grandma, know her mom? And like, if her mom is dead, then how is that? Like, the little things like that, I was like, I was just like, I thought I knew, and then I was like really thinking about it, and I was like, wait, what? Then I was like, okay, like I guess that makes sense. The whole thing about like not being able to go back to a time where you exist, and then for a long time we were like, does like what? Where is present day June? Mm-hmm. Not present day June, but like
the
past
other
June, the other present June. Like that was really tripping me up for a long time.
yeah. But I personally think that it all made sense in the end.
Yeah, they really did kind of make sure that everything was wrapped up, which appreciated.
On page 285 I said, okay, so now I'm thinking she's going to cross, and the locket is set at 2020. I don't remember if it would be 2022 or 23, which makes her just return into her life before. And then 293 I said, exactly, because like that's what I was thinking, like she's just going to return to where she already is. And in my head, I was thinking, like, almost like she would, like, meld with her other version. But it's basically what happened. I mean, she basically just disappeared. But yeah, I think anytime anyone writes in a book or in a movie, like, anything that has to do with time travel or timeline crossage, like, it's just always going to be a little bit hard and a little bit confusing.
Yeah. Well, because also it's like there's no real actual science to back that up, really.
Right.
Like, so
No,
it's
they
like
just-
everything is kind of on a basis of, like, can you just please go with us on this?
Right.
So, so like, yeah, you do have to. For me, for the majority of this, I was like, just suspend your disbelief. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. But that was like my favorite mystery. Like my biggest driving of me like reading the book was like,
Yeah.
I wanted to know, how did a later version of her come back to this
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Like, how was there one before, and how did she not know?
Yeah, I think that was mine too. Cause like, okay, so really at the core, there are three mysteries, which is like her coming back in time, and then the disappearance of her mom, I think, is one too. The murder of Nathaniel, what's his last name? Rutherford. Oh yeah, but then also there's the thing with like, what is this curse?
Yeah.
And like, is the curse really gonna kind of like, can she end the curse?
Yeah.
But then it's so interesting, like all four of them bleed into each other.
Yeah.
Which I thought was so interesting.
It was making me think of the book we read a couple months ago. The Fernways.
The Summer Assault.
Yeah, it was all the Fernway women, and they all had.
This reminded me so much of that at times because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I think also for a bit, it took me a second to really like latch on to that idea. Cause I was like, there's again.
Yeah.
We're doing
No,
this again. But I liked how it was executed better in this one.
Me too.
It was so much less confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a question.
Okay. Oh
which
I'm
is
scared.
Okay. I wrote this on page 225. I just always give page numbers in case anyone at home wants to
Like
see
follow
what
along.
I'm talking about. But I wanted to ask, what were your I said thoughts on her giving in here. So okay, I think this was when they were like after the fair or something. Let me look it up because it'll make more sense. So I think they're at the fair still, and because she's saying she's like hearing the camera, and she almost has this memory come up, but this time like she leaves it alone so she can stay present.
Right.
And like her and Eamon are getting really close, and he like almost kisses her, I think.
Right.
But the point is, she's really wanting to be close with him, and like wanting this moment to happen and for it to probably go further.
Yeah.
And I was curious, like, what are your thoughts on, not on Eamon, because that's like a different thing, but like on her sort of giving in to those feelings and like wanting it in that moment.
Well, I think for me okay, because I want to address your question because you're asking me specifically about that moment, and I think I'm going to try not to go into like my overall thoughts on that relationship.
Okay.
I think my thoughts on her in that moment, I was low-key kind of like, what? Like, for me personally, I was like, where is this kind of all coming from? Like, I get being swept up in the passion of it all, and also it's like a very confusing situation where like, which I thought was really interesting actually, the way that relationship had to exist, in the way where I didn't know how to pronounce his name, Eamon, but he is in love with a version of her that doesn't exist yet. And she is having all of these emotions and feelings and memories that she never really got to experience. And so I think it's such a complicated like cyclone of emotions. Right. And when I lean into that, I guess the moment makes so much more sense. But for me, I just never felt the pull as the reader to want that to happen specifically in that moment. And so when I was there, I was like, girl, I feel like this is a bad choice. Like, I'm scared we don't know all the answers, and I don't want you to make things blow up more than they need to currently. also it's just like her whole thing so far has been, I'm never gonna fall in love, I want to end this curse. So the moment she was starting to do something I thought was a bit messy, I got really scared.
Yeah.
But
because I thought like I was sort of like, I understand why Eamon would be, you
Yeah.
know, having a hard time not getting closer, because it's like that was his wife, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so he has those feelings for her, even if it's not the exact same
yep,
version of her. But I almost thought it was like, I don't
kind
know
of.
what the right word is, like almost like manipulative of her, or
I
like
I thought
like
it was a
it's
little mean.
yeah, that she's like, I don't know. I feel like she should have maybe kept her boundary up a little bit more
Yeah,
until they got more on the same page. Personally, I really liked that it resolved that they wanted to stay together and she wanted to stay there, and
yeah,
I really liked that for both of them. But
yeah.
like the first, I feel like it was like the romance or like the intimacy came like sooner
So
than I
fast.
expected,
Yes, yes.
and I it makes sense to me from his perspective, but I feel like June hadn't yet recovered enough memory to for me to feel like it was like justified or ready. And I was like, this feels like, I don't know, almost uh like if you had like a twin sister and like didn't tell the guy, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
And it's like
right.
almost like taking advantage in a way.
Yes. Yeah, okay. That's so interesting. I felt also like it was a bit too reckless when I was reading it.
Mhm.
I and this is why I mentioned how like really for me to fully buy the progress of that relationship, just like how fast for me it kind of moved in moments. I
Mhm.
had to lean into the fact that like, okay, she's very confused because she, I think, is having so much confusion with
Yeah.
why she's so comfortable being close to this kind of stranger,
Right.
and why he is like craving and wanting that affection again, because like that
Mhm.
is his wife who he has only gone 1 year without, you know.
Right.
So but like, yeah, I don't think hmm I don't think in that moment it made a lot of sense to me, specifically too because all I know of June up to this moment is the fact that the June I know was swearing off men. Every time Mason and her had a little thing, she was like, but I can't, you know? And I was
Mhm.
just like, the whole time, so I was like, okay, so this girl is not gonna, like, she's
Yeah.
got strong boundaries. And then, like, the second her boundaries are kind of like compromised in the past universe, not compromised, sorry, tested in the past universe,
Uh-huh.
she is all fine with, like, taking that down.
Right.
But exactly like you said, I'm like, that's not so much fair on your husband.
Right.
Because
Right.
like this feels like it's playing a little too much into his own feelings without thinking about the grand picture.
Yeah.
For me personally,
Speaking of Mason, also,
sure.
here's my one text to text that I had for this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I said a lot of this book, for much of this I have felt, I wrote this on page 276 for anyone that cares. Um for much of this I have felt like Eamon is Peta and Mason is Gale and June is Katniss.
Oh my
And
gosh.
here even more so, Eamon being the only one to know her fully. So she said something on that page about like, you know, he's the only one that has ever known her fully and she's told everything to. And I feel like it's like, because when you think about Katniss, and it's like, it was almost like, okay, Katniss and Gale, like it's gonna happen one day because they're
That's all
in the,
she's known,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like, you know, he's her home, you know, that's where she's comfortable. But then Katniss and Peta kind of go through something traumatic together, and it's just like no one else is going to understand
Yeah.
what that is
Ooh.
like for them. And so I feel like that was like this, like June and Eamon, like this was in a way a little traumatic. Like he lost his wife,
Yeah.
and then she's coming back in and she's confused and she doesn't know, and she's having to, you know, grapple with, you know, learning all this stuff about her timeline and blah blah blah. And it's like I feel like they're gonna trust each other in a way that like she would never be able to have with Mason.
Yes. Yeah, they're bonded by something that's bigger than the both of them.
Right. And so I don't know, like I was kind of getting that vibe for a lot of the book, and then when it said like he's the only one that's ever known me fully, I was like, that's
you're like
so,
ding, ding.
That's so PETA.
That is, I would have never come to that on my own. Mostly because, and I'll be honest, Mason was so, I was like, what is the point of Mason?
Yeah.
I could care less about Mason. When we weren't talking about him, I was like, I forgot that he existed. And so I was just not attuned to him as a character, but that's a very astute observation.
Thank
I can
you.
so see that. Yes, I can so see that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but I will say though, if we're thinking about kind of like I keep avoiding saying his name because I have just no idea how to say it. But
I think
like
it's
Eamon. He's Irish, so I'm like, what's the Irish pronunciation of
okay,
this?
well that I don't know.
So like I don't know, but and I don't want to have another Lucia. So I'm like, maybe I'll follow you into this one.
Okay.
But like even like her relationship with him, I did ultimately appreciate and enjoy it. Mostly because I'm just like, there was so little life for her already in the in the future world, that like if she had gone back to that, I would have been sad for her.
Yeah.
I feel like
me
she
too.
created such a beautiful kind of place in the past. So, you know, I was happy ultimately with her decision to like stay in the past. I was stressed there, by the way, because like we really came to that decision quite quickly.
I know.
We had like 10 pages left. I was like, well, what are you going to do?
I know.
I got so nervous. But it all worked out. But yeah, no, I think for just so many, like, no offense, but like truly it's just like every romantic scene they had, the intimate scenes, I was like, okay. It's just like, sure, like I get it.
It was interesting because like part of me was like, yay, like they're like coming together, but then another part of me was like, but it's like it's almost like 50 first dates. Like,
Okay.
you can understand why the guy is like in love with her.
But why is she obsessed with him?
But how would the woman have like
this
a real true like deep love for him? And that's kind of how I felt with June. I'm like, but she was kind of regaining the memories. It was just interesting, and I wasn't exactly sure how I felt about it, but
yes,
because I wasn't against it, but I wasn't like, I felt a little like unsteady about it.
You're speaking exactly what I wanted to say. Yes. I just feel like I wanted more of Eamon. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I already forget.
I don't care. It's fine.
More of the husband. I just felt so like disconnected from him specifically for some reason. And I do think I had this issue actually with like a lot of characters in this book. I think apart from, you know, like her curse and like the whole like mystery aspect of it all, I was like, June took me a long time to warm to. I was like, I don't really get who you are as a person yet.
Yeah.
And then once we started seeing her in like this fight or flight kind of mode, then I was like, okay, now she's becoming more of a person I'm rooting for and like hoping like she's developing more character the more I think you go into the story. I couldn't fully get there with her husband. I felt like he, you know, intentionally in the beginning of his story, he has to keep such a distance from her. To the point where I was like, am I even supposed to see this man as like an attractive figure? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm like, how old is he? Like, is he giving scary lumberjack, or is he giving like, you know, like DILF father farmer kind of moment?
Right.
Right. But I don't know. I felt like, especially like there's a moment too, like, you know, like they have one of the intimate scenes, and then they notice that like the cop is in their house reading through all their stuff, and he grabs the rifle and he starts running after him, and I was like, this is scary. And like I get it's supposed to like kind of give us an insight into how protective of this man is of her, but like I felt so weirdly jarred by it all. Like I was like, a lot's going on, and like we're supposed to be fully on board with this, and I just felt like a lot, like there were a lot of big steps, and the author was trying to tell us a lot about the relationship in a very short amount of time, and it was all
Right.
very, very intense things.
Yes.
So I could, it was hard for me to fully wrap my head around that relationship and like
And
be on board with it.
yeah, and I think also because the other women, Esther and the other women, they're telling June, you know, like that man would
Yeah.
kill and do a lot worse for you, like like he's so in love with, you know, the June that he knew, and like he, like they seem to have this very passionate, you know, deep love for each other, but we don't know anything about it except for that we're just being told that it was passionate and deep. And so she doesn't really, none of her memories that she ends up remembering that we read about it really, I feel like, showcase why they were so in love. It's more just like moments together, being mom and dad for Annie, and like like these nice moments, but it's like, yeah, we didn't really get a sense of how exactly they were, you know, so passionate and so right for each other and gonna, you know, literally kill for each other. Which is like an insane, like that's like a huge thing, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I can also see, I feel you there on how it was like a little bit lacking in that regard.
Yeah. And you know, and I completely understand why the author does this, because we have to build the tension somehow, and it is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, the frustration I felt because no one was saying anything to this poor girl. I was like, explain things. Someone just tell her what's going on. Like specifically when she's at the police station and she's being interrogated, and all she knows is that she has to tell him that she was home with her husband and daughter. Mm-hmm. And like he's like, did you guys go together? And she digs herself a hole because like because she doesn't know anything past that. I was like, oh, she's so ill equipped. And like even past that, I was like, we have to start telling her things. We have to start explaining things.
Right.
Because it feels like it's now getting into dangerous territory.
Yeah.
And still then, no one wanted to say anything. I was like, y'all are frustrating me so hard.
Yeah. So thoughts on Caleb?
Caleb. Okay, first of all, kept forgetting they were siblings, but I was like, okay. Because also I was like, do they look alike? Like, what is this? Like, I don't know. It was interesting. Caleb just gave scary cop who liked to abuse his authority to me. And so I felt like that was a fun character, not fun, but like a good, interesting character to have at the helm of like your murder mystery, like a good antagonist.
Right.
Also, I thought it was interesting that it bled so much into her family lineage. Like I just felt like the explanation surrounding it all, like it's like they had a bad dad, and the whole thing with like him thinking that they were like bringing cursed children into the world. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
That was all interesting.
Yeah.
I thought at the very end, was not a fan of how the Caleb storyline wrapped up. Felt too quick for me.
Yeah.
It was like a 2-page conversation in a way. And then he just gets in his car and kind of leaves, and like, you know, obviously finds Susanna's body, things like that. But like, I was like, for a whole book to kind of like really like make us scared of this character, and like fear kind of what was going to happen next, it did end a little like flatly for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like Caleb for me, yeah, like I said, like he was a very scary character. Like I just didn't like him being around.
Right.
And it felt like it was like leading up to something bigger than what it ended up leading up to. But like, again, it's like there were 3 mysteries. So like, I kind of understand why it all wrapped up the way it did. But yeah,
I feel like I thought that the writing of him was really good, in the sense that like, I feel like I could really picture this guy and like him having sort of crazy eyes and like a scary demeanor, and yeah, like I obviously didn't like him as a person, but I liked him as a character in the book. And I actually liked that he had a little bit of an arc of just like, okay, I learned the truth, I'm gonna just leave this town alone, because I feel like it seemed like he he didn't really like his father, but I think he had a
Yes.
sort of loyalty to him,
Yeah.
and and so his father dying obviously is going to be dramatic and upsetting for him, and not getting to the bottom of it, I think,
Mhm.
was eating away at him, and so
Mhm.
it was like making him crazy. I think that wasn't the only thing. Seemed like he was kind of a mean guy to begin with, but like that like escalated it, and
Yeah.
so finally learning the truth, I feel like his father's murder was like the only thing tying him to that town. And so then
Yeah,
it's like
that's a good point.
once he kind of learned the truth, it was like, okay, let me just get out of
He's
here,
like set free in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, now that I think about it, I think he was the main thing in this book that reminded me we were in the 1950s. He just felt like
Oh.
such like a 50s cop, like
Yeah.
50s man, like very
Yeah.
much kind of, you know, in a way the cops run the town, and
Right.
like so people just have such high regard for them. So of
Mhm.
course, like if he has a hunch, the whole town's going to kind of turn
Yeah.
on the family that, is having that the cops looking at. And just like, yeah, like I think you're so right, like the way he was written was so, like I could see that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he was one of the most like clearly formed characters in the book, and I think
Mhm.
he just fit so well into the setting. Like
Yeah.
I liked that part.
Speaking of character description, and so did you notice that there's like two black characters and they were described as black, and no other character was like
Yeah,
described
described.
with their skin color. I
Yeah.
and so like the first time it happened, page 176, I said black man. Has race/color been mentioned before? Is it because this is far enough back that racism is going to be very relevant? And it
Mm,
wasn't. I mean, like, the time period, yes, it was relevant, but
yeah.
in the book, it wasn't. So I don't know, like, I don't know, like, did you notice that? And did you have any thoughts on that? And I just thought it was, like, so weird because I thought, oh, okay, his race is being mentioned because it's the 50s
Yeah.
and it's gonna like come up in a way,
Yeah.
but it never came up except for just description like twice.
Well, so I do know that it is a huge issue in the publishing and writing world, where authors have a real problem with wanting to use descriptors for everybody who's not white, and it's kind of like the white is the default type thing.
Right.
So I see it all the time in my book, so I don't think I really clocked it in this one. But like you're so right for clocking it, because we should not be doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's I think you also bring up like a really interesting point where it's like, yeah, wait, why wasn't racism, misogyny, any of that really talked about? Like I mean, misogyny just a bit,
Yeah.
but like racism, none of that was really touched upon um in this world, and that's like a real thing to like kind of consider if you're actually going to be staying back in the 1950s, especially as like just being a woman too. Like you could not have traveled back in time as anything other than a white woman and happily been like, I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought the best they got with it, which isn't even that great, was the fact that like Eamon said that his family immigrated from Ireland,
Yeah.
and like he kind of was like left on his own in this town, and like very much still has to win over people. But like even that's not really discussed. Like it was a
Yeah.
conscious effort, I think, by the author to not dive into any of that,
Yeah.
which I think is kind of a loss. But like also,
Yeah. Because it's
I
like,
don't
I
know.
think this story, like, it's not that I'm like, we needed to dive into every facet of racism in the 50s, but it's like, but if you're not going to, why are we mentioning if a character is black or not?
Yeah.
You know?
Or like, but also, why are we in the 50s in the first place? Like, it's just so
That's
interesting.
true.
Like, I didn't kind of understand her intent
I think
to.
maybe just because she wrote this taking place in like present day of 2023, probably when this was
and like
written.
the timeline would match.
And so
in a
she
way.
just like, yeah, like
yeah,
however many generations back, and that's just like when it made sense.
But she's also like, it's just so interesting too, because it's just like, you know, she could have technically been born at any point, and like she just need her grandma to be like in her like 16, and then her great grandma to be like 40. Like it feels like we could have stuck the tack anywhere in the timeline.
That's true.
And like have done it, but like I don't know. It's just, it feels like it was like an intentional choice aesthetically for the author to do it.
Yeah.
But like history and like contextually, I think there was like very little done.
I see. Yeah.
You know, to make it a proper like that's why I said in the beginning where I was like, it's like a historical fiction in a sense where it's like we're taking place in the past, but like you're not learning about anything historical. It's just the setting.
Yeah.
So I mean,
fair.
I don't know, but I also, it's like I didn't spend so much time dwelling on it until you just mentioned that. So it's like, you know, it's like the story doesn't technically call for it, but it does feel like there is a huge blind spot in like kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's just it's just something that it stuck out to me, and so I was thinking like, oh, okay, it's probably because it's gonna come up later, but it didn't.
So like we're both of the, I can't even remember. Were both of the black characters just very minor secondary characters?
Yeah, like it was just like they were like at the fair and they're like, oh, this is this person and this is this person, and then she's like, a black man was sitting by the blah blah blah, and that's whoever. It was not relevant at all. So yeah, well,
interesting.
What did you think of the fact that Annie was Birdie?
Oh, I'll be honest, I don't know why I didn't clock that when it was revealed. I was like, I should clock that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that was actually, that was that like kind of like the thing that made me be like, she should stay here. Like that was like the final thing I kind of needed checked off to be like, oh yeah, just stay here, because it's like she, you know, so much of her battle and like back and forth was like Mason and Birdie are back there, and like, God, they're everything I know and I love. And then you just know that like Annie is Birdie, and you're like, oh my God, like just stay here. Like, girl, like you have Birdie here, like the people you love really are here. Yeah, I thought that was so nice.
Yeah, I liked it. And yeah, I think I wrote down like, is Birdie Annie, like 2 sentences before it was
really
like, I was like, wait, I think this is about to be revealed, but I was like, I can't believe I didn't think of that earlier.
This is why it's like, this is what I meant when I was like, you're so good at like actually taking the time to think out your predictions, because I remember when I was first reading it, I was like, Birdie's somebody. Like within the first like 40%, I was like, which one of these girls are Birdie? But like I would have never guessed the daughter. And I also didn't spend a lot of time pondering it. Like I was just like, I don't know, maybe it's like her no, it couldn't be her grandma. But I was like this, I wonder if Birdie like has any connection to all of this.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I also have another question.
Yeah.
What do you, so the ending, so the ending happens where June, the other version of her has disappeared. By staying here, she's closed this loop. She's not going to go through the door again, so it's like ending. But it says something in the end where,
oh gosh,
let me
you're
see
gonna have
here.
to remind me.
Yeah, I'm going to find it. On September 19th, blah, 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 she will bear a child and name her Susanna. My own timeline will overlap with my mother's for just over 20 years before I die. I'll watch her be born, then she will watch me be born, and this cycle, this revolution, will begin again. I would spend the rest of my life walking the precarious line of what I would and would not tell Margaret and Annie. Do you take this to believe that the women are sort of, if you could somehow, and again, this is like not real, but like if you could see like the timeline of people's lives, that this group of Farrow women are like constantly like this, like in a circle.
This for me was the thesis statement of the book and of the world as
like at large. Yeah, no, I love that line. The one where she's like, my mom's lives and like overlap for 20 years. It reminds me of that thing where, when you find out that you're like technically like you are like a part of your grandma before your mom even has you.
Yes.
And it's like women are always so a part of each other and
Yes.
attached to each other. That's what I think like is this
Yeah.
whole book is kind of an allegory
Oh,
for
okay,
like
yeah.
that whole thing. Which I love. I think that's so beautiful. Like that is such a beautiful kind of like a note to end on and like message of the whole book in a way. Yeah, I do think like it's like they are constantly circling around each other's lives, and it just also makes me think like how precious every single timeline is. Like knowing those 20 years that you get with your mom and your mom seeing you be born and you seeing your mom be born, and it's just like these little things. Like it's just like women are just so inherently a part of each other's lives in ways.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like
what would
that.
you think?
Yeah. I just wanted to know if, because part of me was like, oh, okay, like this is the end and everyone continues on a linear path and they die and that's the end. But then when I read that, I was like, oh, it seems like June is always going to be born and then go through a door and then come back and then meet Eamon and then go through a door and then come back and meet Eamon, and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I that was almost scary to me in a way of like perpetual like
like
motion.
Life continues to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's so true.
But I like your thought on it of like the the sisterhood of women, or like the motherhood daughterhood circle.
Yeah, I thought, gosh, because it's just like she's living my dream where it's like I get to be besties with my grandma when she's 16, and I get to know my mom when she's growing up. Like it's that thing in the back of all, I think, women's brains specifically, where we're like, I wish I knew my mom when she was younger. Like I just want to know like everything my mom liked younger. Like I wanted to know her life before her not identity, but like so much of her life became attached to being a mom and like raising me. Like I just want to know what created the person that I got to know my whole life.
Yeah.
And it's like this story, I think, just like really hones in on the fact where like she gets to be a part of it all. Like this family is so unique because they get to experience all of it, and I just think it's so interesting that it is specifically the women.
Yeah.
And the women just get to be so entangled in each other's lives.
Yeah.
I love it. it.
Me too. It made me think of something, but then I was listening so intently to you that I forgot.
Sometimes I also just like will just talk and
No,
and I'm like, I feel bad. I don't ever want to plow over your
It was
thoughts.
something about mom, like being besties with your mom. Oh, I was gonna say that's part of why I'm journaling, so that my future daughter can know the real
you,
the real mom. Yeah. For better or for worse.
Yeah, if my mom had diaries, I would be so obsessed.
Yeah. I had one prediction that wasn't right, but I thought it was sort of interesting. I wanted to share.
Yeah, what was it?
You know, like Mimi Granger or whatever said she saw June running with that child. And I thought maybe, I was like, is it actually Susanna and holding June? You know, I don't know. I was just, because I was just writing down my predictions. I was like, just an interesting prediction I had. It wasn't right, but just thought it was interesting.
Well, also this, and they kind of explain it just like briefly, but like this book, I just kept thinking, I was like, how much do these women low-key look like each other? Because I was like, I would recognize my grandma. I would recognize like if my daughter, low-key, and I don't have a daughter, so this is never this is not based on fact.
Yeah.
Like if my daughter like grew up to be a 70-year-old woman, would I not be able to be like, why do we kind of share the same features? You're my grandma's best friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like there'd be some.
Right.
Oh, hi, Belly.
Hi, Belly.
There'd be like a little bit of like, you know.
Yeah. That's like, oh, wait, go ahead.
No, you can go.
I was going to say it's reminding me of in Interstellar when, spoilers, Cooper, sees Murph as like, you know, an old woman, you know?
Yeah. And like, yeah, like devoid of any.
And it's like that's his baby girl to him, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's actually such a good example to like kind of like discuss the oddities of like your timelines either overlapping or passing each other.
Yeah.
But like the feelings are still so like raw and like Murph to him is always going to be that 12-year-old girl he left behind. Even though she got to live a full life that he hasn't even experienced yet. Like she technically outlived her dad. No. He's gonna outlive his daughter. But like in a way she also did like lap her dad in years. I don't know, it's just so weird. But time, it's crazy. There was something else I wanted to say. Okay, this was the biggest thing that for the longest time, and we kind of already discussed it with like her relationship with Eamon, whatever, the whole time. But like I was so shocked that this woman went back in the past and started a family. For so long, I was like, why'd you do that? Like, truly. And this is why I also think it was tough for me to also get on board with June as a character, because we were dealing with two Junes the whole time. Like the June who we knew and who like has been established to us from like 2023, who now got sent back to the past. And then the June who also came back to the past and then established her own life there, but who's a complete and total mystery to us, who we will probably almost never fully understand.
Right. Well, personally, as someone who's a hopeless romantic and wants to get married and have kids, I was like, that would be so me.
Like you're like, I can do that.
But I did think about, because I was like, I wonder how Danielle would feel about her not sort of being true to her original. But here's what I thought of. First of all, she wanted to be with Mason. She wanted a relationship deep down, but she told herself no, because she wanted to end the Farrow curse. So the way that I think that she stays true to her character is that she did fall in love, she did have a kid, and then she's made it her mission in life to end the Farrow curse for her daughter. So like I see how it's like, well, why did she just go back in time and then like fall in love and have a kid, when that seems like the antithesis almost of what she was saying before. But I don't know. I mean, I think if you find the right person, you never know how your feelings might change. And even though they did change in the regard of getting married and having a child, her purpose or her goal didn't change, because her goal was to end the line of the Farrow curse, and she did, and she still, even when she had a kid, it's not like she just threw all that away and was like, oh well, my kid is just doomed to live my same fate. So
yes, this was my like biggest frustration, I think, with the book, is just the fact that I constantly felt betrayed by June, because we were following a June story who like hadn't yet made the decisions in a way, at least from the present day June that we were following, which complicated, but but I totally agree with what you're saying, and also the fact that, you know, if her goal wasn't to end the Farrow curse, I think this would have had such a more sour note to it. I think that's why, just like for so long though, I was like, I was so like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do that? And and it ends well. It all ends well, which is totally fine. But like when I found out this woman had a baby, I was like, why? Like, I was so angry with her for like 20% of the book, until we figured out like, oh, she went back in time to make sure that she could close the door and the Farrow curse gets broken, which great. But like, yeah, I'm just like, it was kind of hard for me to follow for so long. And then also at the end where it's like, because Birdie, I can't remember, Birdie doesn't really have any children, so like the name dies with her. And that's what they say at the end, right?
Oh, really? I don't remember for sure, but I'll trust.
Well, like the thing is, I don't remember how much was given in the beginning, but I do know for a fact that like she mentions that the name's gonna die with Birdie, which I'm like, that's so interesting. But then, like the curse is broken, so she could have had the baby, so it's not an intentional thing, right? Like it's like I don't know. That's where I was getting confused, and this is all because I was finishing this book up within an hour before we started.
I didn't really remember Birdie having or not having kids. It didn't strike me as relevant, so I can't speak on how I felt about it because I don't remember that.
If Birdie had kids, that would have been her grandkids, and she wouldn't have known. They would have just been family friend kids.
Right.
Which I think would have been. That's another thing too that I also couldn't. It's not like I couldn't get on board with. I was like, man, it frustrated me toward the end because I was like, we are all lying to each other consistently. Yeah. I was like, this is a family of liars, and I think I just felt quite frustrated by how much everyone was willing to tell for the sake of the betterment of whoever they're trying to protect. Like, I was like, this doesn't feel like. I don't have enough evidence that this is actually what's best. Just even like her grandma Margaret, right? That's her name. Like not wanting to tell her for so long what was going on. Like she basically knew the whole plan the entire time that June was back there, and like she just didn't tell her because she was like, you promised me not to tell you. Okay, June, why? Like like I get it, but I was like, that doesn't feel like a right enough like a good enough excuse for me personally. But
because I had a hard time also like rationalizing like what would have gone wrong if they just explained it to her and then she did it with all the knowledge.
I know.
Like, why wouldn't it have worked?
I know.
Because it still could have been her choice. You know, I don't know. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. I don't know.
I feel like this is one of those books that would be good to reread and like
that's true.
And be able to see the trails and stuff.
That's true. Yeah, no, when I started, like, I think when we got to maybe 70% mark, for sure when things started to unfold, like when Esther sat her down. This is my favorite part of any mystery, specifically when the main character has no idea what's going on. I love when someone sits her down and is like, this is the whole, like, I'm going to explain to you beat by beat what went down. I was like, thank God someone here is being rational and giving me answers.
Yeah.
But I think when we got to that point, when we got to the reveal for sure about Birdie, I was like, I want to reread this because I know so much now. Like I didn't realize how much was being planted actually until things were unfolding and starting to be explained to us.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. I think this would be a really fun book to reread.
Yeah.
And
maybe tab it.
A lot of foreshadowing, which I think would be super fun.
Yeah.
It.
So you mentioned this earlier, and I was gonna comment on it, but we like went a different way.
Oh, sure.
But I like her having to make the choice, like between going to 2023 or staying. I was so shocked that Eamon was saying like, go, like just go, it's okay. I like didn't know that he would say that, and I was really scared that June was gonna go, and because I wanted her to stay. And it's sort of interesting that it's like we never really hear what Mason thinks. Like
I know, this is why I told you I was like I have no idea about Mason as a character because he was so background noise to me. Like I feel like Mason, it's like the name on everybody's lips is gonna be Mason because it's Mason. Like everyone, she keeps talking about Mason, but I'm like, okay, but low-key, why are we still focused on Mason? I feel like we're not really talking about him enough for me to really care about him.
I almost feel like maybe we had to have something that would tie her to 2023 because otherwise the choice would be too obvious, maybe.
Yes, I agree. Like it needed to be, and the whole time I was reading this I was like, how are we getting out of this pickle? Like are we gonna, like, where are we going? And I feel like also it's like you never really get to see the main character in these types of stories actually pick to stay in the past. I feel like they're like, I have to go into the future because this is the life I built and this is the life I'm going to lead. La, la, la. But it was flipped in this one, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think we did need something to tie her to the present. But is I just, unfortunately, I don't think we had enough development of why the present was good for me to ever want her to go there.
Right.
Maybe that was the point, because I think she does want us to root for her to stay there.
Yeah. And also it's like, if she's been so anti-relationship and child for so much of her life, and then she goes to the 50s and finds a man and wants to have a kid with him, it's like, oh, if it was that easy all along, then maybe the chemistry with Mason just wasn't that good. You know?
That's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Oh my gosh, there was something else I wanted to say, and I just feel like there's so many things I want to talk about, and they're all swirling around my brain. Yeah, I think the ending specifically leading up. Well, also it's just like, what's so interesting to me, I was like, wow, everybody here is so gung-ho about her being like, go home. Hey, go home. Like, the whole time she's there, they're like, go home. And then, like, you're finding out, he's like, my farm is crumbling, but go home. Like we have a daughter and I'm raising her alone, but go home. Like, I'm like, why? We could think about potentially having her stay. I also thought it was really interesting. It's like, she mentions to Eamon, like, you've always wanted and wish and hope for me to come back. And I think it's so interesting that he's having that war in his mind about wanting her to come back so much, and then being so frustrated and angry that she's here. Like, I just, because I never got any warm feeling from him until, like, he started actually opening up to her about wanting her to come back. I'm like, you're doing a great job not showing it, like, truly. Because I wasn't feeling much. I felt a lot of distance. But I was scared she was gonna go home, specifically because I looked down at my page count and I saw that I had like 14 pages left, and I said, it feels like the easiest thing to do is she's gonna go home. Like, how are we gonna wrap up her staying? And yet she does it. She did it. She did it. It worked.
Adrienne Young did that.
She did the thing, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I liked it. It was an enjoyable read for me.
Yeah, I think my overall thoughts are that I had a really good time with it. I think my thing is just, I thought it was going to be something different than what it ended up being. And so it threw me through a loop for a hot second. And then once we got into the actual mystery of it all, I was really having a good time.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing is just like you said, there were certain aspects, or like we talked about, there are certain aspects that I couldn't fully root for. Yeah. So I felt a little disconnected from a couple storylines here and there, which made it like a little not as fun as I wanted it to be. But that's okay. I think it's still a very worthwhile book recommended to people. So I will be telling people to read it.
Me too. And like I'm always gonna have a little bit of grace when someone is writing like a time travel sort of book, and because I'm always like, this had to have taken so much work, lot of brain power. And I'm sure she had stuff up on the wall and family trees and lines drawn, true. And so like I give her a lot of credit, because while there was maybe a few things that maybe fell through the cracks, like I think in general it was really well done, and so I enjoyed reading something that was well done, you know.
I think, and you know, I've talked about this before, but I just like you, I think I have a lot of respect for people who try to do a kind of zany, wacky topic or subject with their book, and this, to have it be a timeline science fiction mystery, or not mystery, magical realism type of story, but then wrapped inside of also like a murder mystery. I'm like, she's doing a lot here at times, and it doesn't ever feel disjointed. It feels like they all really, really mix well with each other. And so I think she does a really good job at actually, like, the plot is quite strong.
Right. Yeah, so I recommend.
Yeah, me too. I also think too, I should have mentioned this in the beginning. There's a book that I know a lot of people like, but is quite controversial, which is Where the Crawdads Sing. I think this is almost like so akin to, I think, what the feeling and a little bit of the subject matter of Where the Crawdads Sing, but just like done a lot more. I don't know. Tastefully might not be the word, but I think it's just like you feel better reading it because it's not coming from a problematic author. So like I feel like if anybody has like like family, friends, whatever, if you're listening to this, even though we're in the spoiler section, you haven't read it yet, and you like Where the Crawdads Sing, or you want to read Where the Crawdads Sing but you don't want to support the author, you should read this book because I think this is giving the same exact vibes.
I've always heard of that book, but I've never read it.
Yeah, I also was listening to, because Taylor Swift famously wrote a song for it called Carolina, and I was listening to it while reading this book, and I was like, this is the vibe. Like, that's so the vibe.
You listen to music with words while you read?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. I had on my Zelda ambiance YouTube.
Really?
And it's like Link is like sitting in like a hot tub, and it's just like the music from from the game.
I love that. like I love that. It's just not that you need to, but I just love how there's like no connection at all to like any of the vibes, like two completely different vibes going on.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
yeah, there was actually a point where I had to like pause the music because the music was a little too like la li la, and I was like, too much like crazy stuff is going on. Like,
that's so funny.
But I just like I like background like lo-fi type of stuff while I'm reading.
Yeah, I really had to train my brain to actually listen to lyric music with while I read. I used to, in the car with my mom, we used to go on road trips across Missouri, and I would like read one of my favorite books I had read a bunch of times while listening to like the radio in the car, and like I would be like singing along to the radio while reading it. My mom was like, "What?
That's crazy.
How are you doing that?" And I was like, "It's only because I've read this book 10 times."
Right. Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
So like, and I know the song on the radio.
Right.
So like, I kind of like, I'm basically skipping every other word, but like I don't know.
Nice.
Anyway.
Love.
Yeah. Well. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I feel like that was I liked that one.
Yeah, me too. It
was a good discussion.
We had to dive in deep to the actual content, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you everyone for listening to Read the Last Page. Our music and illustrations were created by the talented Sage Timothy.
If you don't know our schedule yet, we host our book club episodes on the first Friday of each month. So next month we will be reading The Mercury 13 by Martha Ackman. That episode will be out on the first Friday of December, so be sure to pick up a copy and read it by then if you want to discuss it with us.
Before we get to the last page, though, we'll see you in 2 weeks for a catch-up episode where it's just besties talking. You can listen to us on your podcast platform of choice, or if you'd rather watch your podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Read the Last Page. You can also find us on Patreon, Discord, TikTok, Instagram, and you can email us at readthelastpagebookclub@gmail.com. For now, we want to say bye from B
and Diane.
Bye.